Good evening, everyone. This is the Three Marketeers Show. Can you imagine this is already the ninth episode? You see, every time I come in, I will say that, wow, this is marvelous. I thought we were supposed to do this a few episodes and we're going to end this. Okay, the Three Marketeers Show mainly is, just three of us. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't, but most of the time you will see three of us. So let me do a quick introduction about our so-called our co-hosts here. I'm your host Jason, and we have Manfred as our co-host. Manfred is from Singapore. He's a digital marketer, and in his past life he's a programmer. And then on the other hand, we have Andrew. Andrew is a very seasoned digital marketer, and he actually salesperson, and he did a lot of things in the past 30 years. He has accumulated very crazy experience, and he's really here to share how can he help you to really turn your business digital. I mean, to digitalize your business in a very meaningful way. So for those who are watching, if you can see this, if you can hear this, okay, please remember, if you have any questions, you can type in the comment section below. Today, we're going to talk about email marketing, and Andrew is our anchor today because he has positioned himself as the email marketing guy, basically, because he has built a lot of email marketing sequences. And like I always like to tell people, you see, 6-day challenge, my 6-day challenge, he built my email sequences, and my email sequences, I didn't tell you, right, Andrew? Our email sequences, my overall now, not just the 6-day challenge, is actually contributing $3,000 to $4,000 in revenue every month for me. The email itself is converting $3,000 to $4,000
Wow.
in email for me. I mean, in revenue for me. Dollars, yeah, not ringgit, yeah, it's dollars. So it's actually not too bad if you look at the whole thing. So email marketing really works, but I think we want to really come from a few angles to really discuss how can we do email marketing right. So remember, if you're watching this, right, if you have any questions, hey, Chiwa is already here. Right, if you have any questions, please type in the comment below. And if you believe this is something that is useful for your friends, you can share this to your friend. But of course, if this is the first time you're watching this, welcome in. Remember to hit the subscribe and follow button so that you'll be notified whenever we go live. So, as we're going to start this thing, we're going to start grilling Andrew. But before we want to start grilling part, let me give my co-host some chances to introduce themselves and what is their take about email marketing? What are the experience they have in email marketing? Maybe we can start from Manfred.
Email marketing, in my opinion.
Maybe you should introduce us because we may have some new people here.
Okay, for those who still don't know me, I'm Manfred here from Singapore. I spend more time on Facebook marketing, but that doesn't mean that I doesn't touch other digital marketing. Email marketing is, if you read the Russell Brunson's book, he did mention that there's this guy, he went for some TV contest and supposed to get more leads come in. So during his TV host period, if he have collected a lot of emails, he can send emails out to reach people. That will be a very powerful tool. But unfortunately, that TV host didn't collect emails. And email marketing is one of the most important digital marketing tools compared to many other things. I remember I did some research for some statistics. I think in terms of email and social media, I think email actually is the first check of the day. And in terms of total users worldwide, email also outshines social media. Conversion rate also outshines social media, 6% to 1.9%. In terms of click-through rate, also better than social media. And in terms of ROI is insane. And there's a lot of digital marketing experts swear by email marketing. But doing it well is a different story. Let's leave it to Andrew to take over.
So yeah, thanks Manfred. Thanks. I think that these are good insights, but of course, basically, I actually pass it. I want to hear it from Andrew himself. What is your take about email marketing? What do you think? Why is this important to a lot of businesses out there?
You gotta hand it to Manfred. He's our research expert, man. Next time if I want any data, I'm gonna say Manfred, go and find us some information. Email is definitely important. I mean, like Manfred mentioned, half of the population has email account, and these are active email accounts. So if you look at conversion rates, I think Manfred has mentioned it. You see, generally in traffic, there are three types of traffic. Okay, one is traffic that you control. So what does it mean is basically, for example, if you want to target a certain group of people, for example, those are basically you run ads, right? So you have certain audiences and all those things. there are also traffic that you do not control. So if you run blogs and all those things, you're dependent on SEO. You're dependent on Google search. But traffic that you own is primarily your email list. Because once you have this email list, you can practically send any emails to anyone as long as you send them clearly at any one time, And 60% of consumers basically have indicated that they bought something because of an email that they received. So that's huge. So in terms of email, obviously in the digital marketing mix, you will have traffic, which is Facebook and all those things. The email should be a part and parcel of the consideration when you do your digital marketing, because that's where you do follow-ups. I mean, for example, you look at it in email. When you sign up for a media account, what do you use to sign up? It's your email.
Email.
When you buy something online or when you do a transaction online, where do you receive your receipts? Either it's post,
Email.
which is now no longer happen. It's basically from your email, your utility bills. It's email. You want to do your tax return, same thing. They will send you email confirmation. You forgot your password to your social media. What do? Email. So email is already this year 49 years old. And social media, since Facebook, if you use Facebook as a reference point, is about 14 years. So it's, but then again, it is still a critical part of digital marketing and important in this case.
Yep. So I think at the end of the day, a lot of people still, like the other day I was having a discussion with one of my coaches the other day. He actually raised this question to me, which I actually use whatever you share with me to share with him. But yet again, although we know that this email is still part of us, it's still kind of like part of our life, but how do we start, like eventually, how do we really start email marketing? What is the most important thing we should have in order to start email marketing, Andrew?
Now, obviously, the good way to start is to have your own list. Now, not many people, when they have their own email list. So you can go back to basically using your name cards that you collected, enter your email into it. At least use those which are 1 old. Don't go back into like 10 years old name cards, but you can actually start from that. Another method is you can either put up a lead magnet or basically a freebie that somebody would need to give them their email, and you can get that freebie. It could be a document, it could be a guide, and that's how you collect your email address from there on, and you nurture them accordingly.
Okay. I think the lead magnet part is really something that worth noticing, because recently I actually kind of like experimented myself, right? To be frank, if you look at because I've been testing things, Andrew and I has been testing things, because to build out my funnel, and of course the funnel that we built has expanded into different kind of funnel, and we actually have multiple funnels running right now. And what I realized is email, is really something that, like, I totally agree that it's really something that people open every day. But in order to start email marketing, because we have the other question the other day which is, do I need to have a list first, right? But I think at the end of the day, lead magnet plays a very important part. But yet again, when you come back to the list, right? But Andrew, what is your take? You talk about lead magnet. Other than that, because you mentioned name, you can dig in on your name cards, whereby you can actually check your own name cards. This is really some method that I don't prefer, because to be frank, most of the name cards are either old, and a lot of them are using their company email, and the company email may not last because people may leave their position, and eventually this will have a lot of hard bounce rate. Okay, so this is one of the things. Now we also talk about using lead magnet, but what are good lead magnet examples? Can you actually give us some? We are still at this topic of how to build email lists. In your opinion, what are the good methods? Or probably if you want to talk about lead magnet, what are the lead magnet examples that you can give to us to probably kickstart this thing?
Okay, let me. This is from personal experience. That when I was working with my former company, we wanted to create a lead magnet, and my colleague went ahead with a 21-page guide on
Wow.
the technical solution.
That
We
must
didn't
be
get any
very
leads.
good.
Okay. I know. We didn't get any leads. So what we did is eventually we then went ahead and created a single pager, a checklist. And that one actually got us lead. So to summarize, basically, there are things that you need to do when you do your lead magnets. Number one is it needs to address a very specific problem. Okay. Number two, this thing must be, when you do the lead magnet, you don't have to tell them 20 other things. You address one particular solution, you address one particular problem, and then you basically give them that solution. And you want to give them a quick win. That means if I download that lead magnet, I should be able to implement it immediately. Now, if I can do that, okay, it actually automatically builds that trust with you. And what happens is the next time when you follow up with an email, I know that this person has helped me before. It doesn't have to be a very big kind of win. A simple thing that they have thought of, and it could just solve their problem just like that. And that's the type of link that works. So you don't need a 21 pager. A single pager, maximum 2, is good enough already.
Okay. What about courses? What about short lessons? What are the other things other than this pager thing? Because you see, I have another argument. Because to be frank, based on my personal experience, I think a couple of years ago, I started to build a little bit of a lead magnet, because back then I was so noob, about the funnel building and all that shit, right? So eventually, what I did was I actually created an ebook, so-called ebook, and then spent so much time doing the design and all this. Generated some leads, but it doesn't seem to be that high quality. So I think eventually, when it comes to lead magnet, do you think it also has got to do with the market that you're serving? Because what I realize is Malaysian doesn't seem to be reading that much. So if you go for ebook route, it may not work that well. I'm not sure about Singapore, Manfred. I'm not sure. Do you get paid? Do you actually buy this kind of ebook kind of lead magnet, or is there any specific preferences that you have? Manfred. I want to address this to you personally.
I have some experience with B2B before. If normally B2B people are very time tight also, and if you have a stack of document, few pages, unless it's really very good, normally I still agree with Andrew. We stick to a one pager and solve one problem, or maybe the title itself is top 10 winning top 10 way of cutting costs in 2021, specific to your target audience, maybe the CTO or CEO. Then people will react to the thing. So that's why the lead magnet has to be customized based on industry.
Okay. Now, so we talk about now lead magnet flight. We in a way. Let me. Yeah. For the record, let me interrupt a little bit, right? For those who are watching
Jason,
this, please you have to excuse us because
you had.
Yeah, let me finish this, Andrew, because I want to inform the audience a little bit about the situation that we are facing right now. I think Andrew is having a bit delay. I think it's about 2 to 3 seconds delay. This is really about, just like when you're watching the TV news, then our friend, broadcasting from some stormy weather out there, they're having just a little bit of delay. I think we're working on this right now. So, so when we ask the question, Andrew may take a while, maybe like 2 seconds for him to receive, and then he will actually respond to that. So bear with us a little bit about, different kind of rhythm and tempo over here. But Andrew, back to you. What were you talking about just now? You were trying to say something. Is Andrew still there?
I'm at Tatika. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. We can.
Gotta get used to the delay. Okay. Now remember, a week ago you actually posted something on Facebook about can tourism industry continue to advertise?
I did. You go on. Yes, I did.
Yeah. See, another way is if you don't want to do lead magnet, yeah. So if you do if you don't want to do a lead magnet, for example, what if, for example, you advertise and says, if the MCO was over tomorrow, what are the countries you want to visit, or what are the continents you want to visit, right? And you give them the choice of A, Europe, 2, Asia, maybe the C is going to be Americas, and D, I would prefer to continue work at home. No link magnets. Now, what happens is this. If they answer this, you tell them, you promise them, you give them daily summary of the countries that they selected, about the places that they can go. It could be linked to other websites. It could be linked to other travel sites, but you are basically collecting information on their behalf. So you don't have to do any link magnets. You're basically leveraging on other people's content. Now, what happens after that? Now, because somebody who has selected Asia, you're going to give them Asia content, right? So if I'm a tour agent, I have an inventory of Asian. I'm going to list those things down. It could be a simple email, or it could be links. And if same thing with Europe, Americas, you do the same. Now, what happened to the fourth category? The one who says, I want to get back to work quickly. I'm not going to go for any holidays. I'm going to stay at home and do my work or work with the country. This one, you can then send short holidays on weekends. How about staycation, for example? How about maybe a 2 days holiday in a hotel? Or how about a local trip to Port Dickson? Or even down south Singapore, somewhere close, where you can go and do your have your holiday and have a break and then come back and do your work. So email marketing allows you to actually segment and deliver this sort of message. So you don't have to really do link magnets.
So in a way, what I'm actually understanding from Andrew,
because as long as
sorry, the delay, you go on, please.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I know. So, there are many creative ways that you can use to actually create, allow to get people to send emails to you. And from there, you can nurture them. You can build up a relationship. You see, the email is a one-to-one relationship, between you and the recipient. Although you can do it because you scale, because I send to, but when we write emails, it's actually on a one-to-one relationship. And that's the power that you can deploy for an email marketing.
So I like the whole point here, you see, Andrew. I think what I'm actually seeing here is this. You are talking about, this is really something that a lot of people never thought of, which is the one-to-one thing. And then when you're able to nurture this, because I remember when we were building the 6DC sequence, right? At one point, you were actually triggering a few nurturing or so-called warm-up emails that you want to get people to hit the reply and answer. So I think this is something that a lot of people are not counting and not actually building within their email sequence, because a lot of people still thinking email as a broadcast, this is a totally wrong way of looking at email. It's not a broadcast. You have to think of it because as a recipient, although I know that you must be blasting out to every single one in your list, or probably you segmentize it, but I take this relationship, or I take this, so-called friendship that we are building personally. So the more you're able to address personally to the person, okay, the more you are able to nurture these people. So I actually implemented this in my recent email sequence. What I did was I actually built a very, very interesting email sequence. So while Andrew is actually fixing his part, I'm not sure whether he's back to normal already, but I really love to share this personal story. Not so long ago. I think I only started this campaign about today is Wednesday. I think I started this on, if I'm not mistaken, over the weekend. So can you imagine? I'm using a very interesting so-called, of course, it's a lead magnet, but the lead magnet itself is really something like what Andrew mentioned. It's really niche. I'm only looking at Lazada and Shopee sellers. Now, when I bring them through the door, right, I'm going to offer them some free course. Now, of course, it's going to be an hour kind of thing. But what I really spend a lot of time crafting, it's not the lead magnet, it's the email. It's the email that I'm actually using to send them. So immediately you enroll into this free course that I'm offering you as a lead magnet, of course. Eventually, I'm gonna give you a lot more things. And then in between the things that I'm offering to you, I try to set myself to write the emails in a way that I'm, as if I'm writing an email to a friend, as if I'm writing an email to a student. So the way I write this, right, people can feel it. Can you imagine I actually generated, on the front end, it's really beautiful. I think my cost per lead is less than a bloody ringgit. And I'm getting crazy number of leads coming in. I think my leads increased by, at the moment, I think it's growing by about 50 to 100 a day at the moment. But the most important part is it's already generating me revenue because of the email, and not just the revenue. I get replies. I get a lot of replies. These people really write back and say that, hey, thank you for this thing, because I write in a way that they can feel it, and the moment they reply back, right? So that is the best way to whitelist an email, and definitely your email will never go into spam anymore, because this is what Andrew taught me. You need to make them reply to make sure that whatever you send in the future gets to them effectively. I think this is really something a lot of people never thought of, right? Andrew, what do you think? This is a very interesting win for me, to be frank. It's really doing so well for me right now.
I'm glad to know that, man. But yeah, same thing. As in social, it's all about engagement. So in email, they will also want to see engagement. So if you broadcast is really a very amateur move, because you're trying to tell everybody and you don't understand their segments, or you don't understand their interests. That's the quickest way to get them to unsubscribe you, right? So, but when you do one-to-one, when you write as if you're writing to Jason, if I'm writing an email, and I actually, in my email, I actually get him to want to me. Same thing as in your Facebook post, comment this if you like this, that kind of method. It's also transferred to email.
So what Andrew is saying, the way I understand is this, a lot of people, other than what I mentioned just now, when you're writing an email, you're thinking from the broadcasting way, which is like an advertising way, instead of the personal relationship building way. So that's the first mistake a lot of people are making. The second mistake that a lot of people are making is, a lot of times when people are writing email, they are not writing email with an intention, which is the whole email lacks call to action. You're not really telling them what you want them to do. I think that's one big mistake that a lot of so-called digital marketers are doing when it comes to email broadcasting. I really learned this tremendously recently with Andrew's help anyway. But let me dig deeper, because the next question that we have here is this, Andrew. You can take your time to read this. I wanted to talk about how do we optimize to get the better open rate and click-through rate. So other than what we mentioned just now, one of the methods that we use, tested and proven working, is to write the email in a way that is personalized, and you really appear directly to the person, write in a way that they will feel connected to you, which if you get replies means it's working. I will assume that way. And if you get clicks, and it's working. But other than this method, of course, the other way that we discussed just now is to write email with strong and solid, clear call to action. That's the second thing that we have right now, right? So other than these two, Andrew, I want to grill you a little bit. Can you actually share with us any one or two more techniques or tactics to increase the open rate and the click-through rate for your email marketing? I don't mind to wait. When you catch this, you can start talking.
Sure. Let me start with a simple statistics. 47% of people actually look at the subject lines before they open the email. So your subject lines is extremely important, right? Now, if you go back into the anatomy of the email itself, you have the from name, which is basically coming from home. A lot of people make a mistake and says, I use customer support at whatever.com. It should be personal. Remember, end of the day, as long as mine is your email is a one-to-one personal communication. As if I'm writing to my friend Jason, I'm writing to my Manfred, it has my name into it. So first thing, the from name is very important. Number two is your subject lines, which is basically the header of your email. That's the one that, see, each one of the components from name to subject line to the hook, or maybe the first paragraph, to the content and into the CTA, each one of these play a very specific role, only one role, right? So the from name is so that I can easily identify who it's coming from. Where is it coming from? Number two, the subject line is the one that first thing I see, well, it's going to pick my interest. So the role of the subject line is to pick that interest, then to click. So when you write the subject line, you write it as you write to a friend, so you don't worry about the uppercase, lowercase. It shouldn't be shouty. It should be, for example, hey, have you checked out what Jason did yesterday? Right? Or have you checked out Jason's post yesterday? So that's one. Or instead of watch Jason's post on yesterday. So it becomes an announcement. So you don't do an announcement. All right? So we have tried uppercase and lowercase. We have tried lowercase. We have added 1 or 2 emojis, for example. So those are the method. Write as if you're writing to a friend. Because the rules are, there's no formal rules for emails. Unless you do B2B. If you do B2C, right, it should be open. B2B, you have to try to follow against because there's company requirements or company branding and all those stuff. But I tried, even then, I broke some rules. I didn't follow it. My open rates for those that I didn't follow the rules was actually higher if I wrote a formal email. Okay, so that's the subject line.
That's about breaking rules.
The hook basically say when I open, yeah. So when you do hook, what are the things that actually gets you? Hook is supposed to get you to go to read on to the next paragraph, which is your content. So you start with something, as if any movies, you start with so-called a cliffhanger, or you start with something that says, give an open loop, so that when they read it, they want to know more. Right? So, for example, if I would do Jason's one, I would always say, do you know that I actually made 42 or 4,002 in a single email? It's open. So you say, okay, what's next? So you want to read the rest of the content. So the content itself is to help you build the desire. So if Jason is selling a course, he's going to use that in the form of a story. He's going to use that in the form of a step. He's going to use that in the form of benefits when they sign up. And finally, you have the CTA. So each one of these components of the email actually play one particular role. And your CTA, there's only one CTA. Okay. So you don't, and then the rest is basically either send them to the sales page. So that's how you actually get your open rates and CTR. And you're right, Jason. If you have not clear exactly what the users do, they don't know what to do. They're not going to click. And you know what? They're going to say you freaking waste my time by sending an email which is not very clear. Tell me what I want to do quickly. I'm busy. Just tell me what I want to hear. Get me what I need to do, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. To summarize, I think what we get from Andrew here these are really gems, man. Like, for example, what he mentioned just now, first is the subject line. Now, of course, he would not be able to just drill in and say that how to write a good subject line, but of course, his course is gonna, Andrew is actually launching a course, and his course is gonna cover that, at least to give you an idea about what are the things, that you need to take into consideration. But I personally feel the from element. I think the from element is really powerful because, after receiving email from many digital marketers and a lot of so-called gurus and all that, right? I personally feel that if you are able to really put it as a name, like for example, I could do Jason Gunn. Like mine is, if you receive my email, it's really from Jason Gunn. And for the record, I reply those emails. Okay, then the second thing is I do reply those emails. I read those emails. And the second thing is, when I compare to, because previously I actually tested Jason Gunn from TribeUp or Jason from TribeUp Academy, Jason at TribeUp Academy. I dig back and look at the comparison in terms of the click-through rate and everything. The open rate is not good at all. It's not good at all. So Andrew gave us these are the 2 points. So the subject line, the from. So I would suggest, if you can, right, you should actually use your own personal email, because you also want to whitelist this thing to make sure that people are, feeling the connection. It's always about the connection building, because you have to really take off the broadcasting mindset when you're doing the email marketing. I think this is one of the very important things that you should get. And the third part is, of course, the copy, which is Andrew was suggesting that you need to have a hook. And I personally prefer shorter email. But of course, sometimes I do send out longer emails, and those are actually by advice of my mentor over here. So basically, he has his reason, but of course, we do argue from time to time in terms of whether we want to keep it long or short form. But I personally, based on my experience, you know, I used to write something long. I think the hook part is really important. I agree with Andrew. Instead of, I think making people interested in reading on is really the key. I think the first sentence plays a really important role. But of course, when you work with Andrew, he's able to give you deeper thing. But okay, now we have a question from Chi, our good friend over here. Andrew, this is a question from Chi. Chi was asking, what is the good benchmark for open rates and also the click-through rate for email marketing? I think this is a bit open-ended. I think Chi understands that as well. But can we give him a benchmark, Andrew? Do you have something? Of course, we have some statistics. These are the industrial statistics from our friend Manfred. So before I post it in, Andrew, I want to hear from you first.
Yes. Okay. 15% to 19% is the average, but also depends on the industry. When I was doing for B2B, I would be happy with 10%. And when I was running another email campaign on a different info cost, I was hitting about 40% open rates.
Wow. 40.
Yeah.
Powder.
40%. And the difference is this. In B2B, I cannot be too creative. There was a friend of mine who actually I helped him wrote. That's a quick story. I helped him wrote his email sequence for his B2B company. So his business is into basically data storage or security data storage. So I suggested at that point there was Avengers Endgame, right? So you had all the hype. So I suggested an email header subject line that says, what if the tunnel snap wiped out all your data?
What the? They want to scare the
and it was
ass out of it, man.
Short. Correct.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was that's how you don't have to be what you call those street to be too clickbaiting, but the balance is to write it enough that to get them to see what will happen after that. You see. Unfortunately, the company didn't want to run it because they were not comfortable with it. So my experience is between 15 to 30%, depending on the industries you're doing it. That's why I break all kind of rules. But 30% would be a good open rate. Click-through rate, you're looking at about 3. Like I mentioned, is talking about 6%. 6% is conversion rate. So 3%, yes, depending on the offer. Then that one would depend on the offer as well.
The add-on question, Andrew. I mean, when you talk about 15 to 25% and the click-through rate of 2.5%, does the list size affect the ratio, the percentage? Let's say, is this applicable to certain list size or it's applicable to all list size? Like, some of my friends has about 50,000, but this 50,000, may not be that high quality, but, the other part may have maybe like 1,000, but they actually earn this list from a different angle. But is it affected by the list size? My question is this. But thanks GY for the question. If you guys have any questions regarding email marketing, we have our mentor here. He is actually the guy who teach me a lot about my email marketing part, and my email marketing is really working so well for my company right now. So if you really want to do email marketing in a different way, Andrew is the right guy. But now, he charge whatever it is. But for now, when he's here answering questions, he's obligated to answer this question because he's on my show, right? So ask these questions when you have them about email marketing. Okay. So Andrew would actually drill on. But Andrew, based on my question, does the list size affect the click-through rate and the open rate? Over to you.
The answer should be the answer should be the list quality, not the list size.
I think I like that.
For example, if you, there was a case I was doing a part of my beta client, one of the participants of my beta client program. He has about 10,000 email list, and I was trying to onboard him into one email service provider. According to him, the email list that he has, the 10,000, was actually from people who sign up as members.
Okay.
Okay. When I uploaded the 10,000 list, I think about 60% of the emails came back, because we actually use a filtering kind of tool where we search, before we upload to MailerLite, that was the tool that we was using. 60% of the email came back as not valid. And these are really from their system. Email was taken from their membership system. It's not, yeah. So and when he ran another campaign, he collected about 900 plus email for new cold audience. He had 20% people who actually clicked to redeem the coupon and actually bought products from his store. So the quality is more important than the quantity of the list.
Okay. Manfred, you wanted to say something? Manfred?
Yep. I just want to ask Andrew, did he buy the list in the first place, the membership? 60% bounce is quite high, no? Did they buy the list?
They say they captured or...
They captured or
Andrew, what was that?
No, according to him, they captured.
Wow.
Didn't buy. According to him, he didn't buy. It's captured on the system.
Personal email or business email?
I go into their e-commerce, I sign up as a member, and I do things. Personal email.
Personal email.
So
That's a very interesting case study.
Downloaded the list and did random checks. There were a lot of spelling errors. Yeah, there was a lot of spelling errors. You know, for example, Gmail without an L.
Wow.
Gmail.com without an M. You know.
So they purposely fill in a wrong email address.
He didn't buy that. Then from there, it's pretty clear that he didn't buy it. It could be just a typo. It could be just a typo.
60%.
So what I normally suggest is, if you can, you do an opt-in. Yeah. So imagine the kind of money that could be lost if you didn't follow up, you didn't do it properly. So I would normally suggest to do a double opt-in.
Double opt-in is one angle.
So
I think I personally...
business newsletter.
Yeah, I mean, double opt-in, we talk about double opt-in. Double opt-in is definitely the industrial standard. You know, all email providers will tell you that you should actually do double opt-in. But the problem about double opt-in is, you know, you're going to make your list damn thin, because especially for the local Asian so-called preferences, right? A lot of us actually don't bother to go through this and click again. However, I totally agree that, you know, I think the lead capturing, the so-called the email capturing process could be one of the big factor. Definitely typo, because they probably sign up these members in some environment that could be, these people could be rushing somewhere, or they're in between, you know. So when they type, they just simply type. That's why when we are doing lead magnet, something that I always do is whenever I have a lead magnet, right, I'll always remind them that whatever they are supposed to get will be emailed to them. So that actually gives them the reason to at least, you know, double check the email that you're giving me, whether this is the correct one, because you're going to get it in email. So I think that's at least a way that I'm actually looking at, you know, at least I'm using to make sure that people do at least do a quick check before you click the submit button. Else, definitely 60% is damn bad, man. But thanks for that, Andrew. I want to move on to the next question, because I think when we talk about open rate and all that, I think the deeper question that we have here, the deeper angle that we want to look at is how do we actually, you know, automate something to get more customers, as in like, okay, now I believe there are stages, right, when it comes to email marketing. Andrew, can you actually brief us the stages of when a lead come in, what are the things that we should do, and then when should we start selling, and how should we actually approach selling using email marketing? Andrew.
Okay. So in my course, I talk about the three-part email sequence. So generally, the three-part email sequence comprises of the welcome email. Then you have the nurture email. Some call it the indoctrination email, which I find it a bit too big, brother. So I use nurture email. And then finally you have the sales email. So the welcome email basically sole purpose is to introduce you to them or invite them into your world to explain your background, what you do, and all those things. You can write it in terms of maybe 2 or 3 emails. It doesn't have to be a thesis. You don't write like anything more than 1,000 words on email. You probably, unless you have a very engaged audience. So maybe about 100 or 200 words, that would be just good enough. Then you do nurture emails. So nurture emails is providing value. The idea of these three nurture email sequence is basically to develop that know, like, and trust, these 3 key factors. So when you provide value to them and you provide information or guides without even selling, that's how they will then basically come back for or basically continue to read your emails. And obviously, finally, you have the sales emails. The selling email is unique in a sense. There are many angles that you can use to sell. I actually introduced 6 angles that you could use to sell a same product. I have 6 different ways of writing and selling email to sell one product. I think, Jason, when we tried with your 6DC, we actually had we deployed about 3 different methods of selling it.
Yep. So you tested a few things.
So these are the methods. Yeah, these are the methods that you could use. Basically, your welcome, your nurture, and your sell. So to answer your questions, on average is you do at least 3 or 4 nurture emails before you send a selling email. Okay, and that also depends on how hot your audience are, anyways. Yes, Manfred.
This reminds me of dating. So, hello, my name is Manfred. Then the nurture is nurture. Oh, you like this rose? You like this chocolate? You like this dress? Then finally, I give you my ring. Will you marry me? Correct?
I think in a way, yes, but you make it too romantic already. I thought you're supposed to be a scholar, then tiba-tiba you become a Romeo. Come on, man.
Correct. You meet up with a person in the bar. First of all, hi, my name is Manfred. The onboarding. Okay, you want to build nurture, ma? This is the chocolate. This is the rose. This is the dress. This is the treat. Yeah. Finally, the sales letter. This is my ring. Will you marry me? Correct.
I totally agree with that. I want to chip in a bit from my angle because what I'm actually experimenting, what I'm actually experimenting with this current exercise that I'm doing right now is I put a so-called a nurturing sequence. This is a welcome email, right? This is actually once they come in, we will have a series of 7 emails following them. All right, so this is what I'm actually having right now. In my recent lead generation exercise. Because I wanted to experiment if, these people would actually do to actually consider buying even, when they are new to my universe and it's working. What I did was 7 email sequence. Immediately once they go through the door, right? Immediately they sign up for the free training, which is a free 1.5 hour course. Okay, then, they have 7 emails coming in. And out of the 7 emails, 3 of them are sales emails. I was doing a crazy experiment. Like why didn't you say you gotta break the rules, man? Who said the welcome email cannot sell? Okay, so what I did was I wanted to see if I'm able to actually break even or even make money with my lead generation exercise, and it's working. And at the same time, it's also helping me to get my other areas growth. My Facebook group is growing. My YouTube subscriber is growing. It's kind of a way because. Remember, Andrew, the other day we were talking about I'm planning another program, which I want to see if there is any way, to make money from the very beginning. Because to be frank, the angle of looking into this is a lot of people don't have the patience, and a lot of people don't have the so-called the stamina or even runway to wait maybe like 6 months, 9 months, or even a year down the road to make the whole thing work. That's why if we are able to find a way that actually can make this thing work, but of course. what makes this thing work is actually the product that we are selling has to be a total no-brainer. So that is also part of the equation that we need to plan in. You can't be selling a $247 product to a person who just subscribed to your email. But it's perfectly fine to sell maybe like $10 product to the people who subscribe to your email. But if you can, the best deal is what we actually proven with 6DC sequences. We are able to get people to pay us to be part of our universe, to subscribe to our email, to come into our list. So that is another thing. I think what I wanted to bring up, the reason why I want to bring this up to share with everyone here is, to be frank, sometimes you just have to break away a little bit. But of course, I'm not saying that you want to break away the fundamental. The fundamental are really important. That's why you need to work with people like Andrew, or even to buy his course over here. But the thing is, when you are in your own scenario, for whatever things that you're doing, because you are unique, of course, Andrew is going to give you all the things that he can. But when you are considering your own product offering, right, you sometimes should actually break away from those, what do we call, norms, and try to see if there's anything that you can do. Okay, so yeah, now let's bring it to the next question, Andrew. I want to see, this is a very interesting question. We just discussed about this just now. Do you really need a list to start email marketing? Is there any way to start email marketing without a list, or is there any consideration on this?
Well, you need to send to somebody anyways. So obviously a list will be nice to have, will be important. Otherwise, you got no emails to send to.
That's true. But my argument would be, I think a lot of people have a list is one thing. I think the most important thing, in fact, whether you have a list or not, it is about what are you selling. You gotta have a clearer idea. You gotta be really crystal clear about your value ladder, your funnel, and whatever that you're selling. But yeah, because I was actually trying to, you don't, like, for now, I think if I can consider this round as zero list starting, I think it works as well to a certain extent. But anyway, I agree with you. You gotta have some list to start. But the reason why we chipped in this question is to try to, like I said just now, is to challenge, to see whether, do you look deep enough into your offering? Yeah, but okay, Andrew, I want to further push on this question. Okay, what makes a good nurturing sequence? How often should I send nurturing email? How often should I send nurturing email? And how many nurturing emails should I be working on before I should start my sales email? What is your take?
You can start like what you do now. You have your weekly Sunday emails that you send out to summarize your YouTube videos. That could be one. So at least once a week at most. I have personally tried using welcome and nurturing and sales email. I wrote about a 16 sequence email.
Wow.
Combining nurturing and sales.
16
to sell a $197 product.
Duration?
16
duration?
for 4 days. No,
4 days?
5 days. 4 days.
Oh, I'm gonna hit the unsubscribe button, man.
16 emails.
Right.
4 email per day.
Wow, crazy, oh. But 1997, oh. But are these warm or cold lists? Wow, that's a very interesting experiment.
This was they opted in to receive a lead magnet, a document, a guide.
Okay. How did it work? How did it work out?
Now, then I had from a list of that time, it was about a small list. It's about 327 email subscribers because they opted in. I was doing an affiliate marketing for a company, so I was promoting their product. So they had videos, Facebook, YouTubes, and all the launch stuff. And then I directed them into a page to download the notes, the tutorial notes, so to speak. I have about 300 plus people, and I closed about 5%.
Well, not bad.
On 197.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
At least 15.
So, the sequence helps.
Wait, 1997, wait, dollar, wait.
No, it's not US dollars. It was not. See, the idea is it's not the number of sequences; it's the value that you put in. So when I wrote the 16 sequence email, it was all about life, about current events, and how this particular product can actually help them, give them a roadmap to life. So there were many different angles that I used.
Right.
So end of the day, and there was only one link. I say if you are interested to look at this, then here's the link, and it goes to my sales page. So my sales page or my landing page was the one that's doing the selling. The email was actually get them to read, pre-frame their mindset before they go to the sales page. Because once they are ready to go to the sales page, the selling is almost effortless. So I was using email to pre-frame their mindset because I was selling something that's unique to a lot of people who are new to this particular subject.
I really like the word that you use pre-frame, actually to warm them up.
Yeah. So for anyone who wants to learn this, I think, okay, Andrew, can I post the link already about your course? Let me post the link of your course first. But to be frank, the course is one thing. You should take a look at this. For those who are really serious about going into email marketing, basically you should take a look at this. But if you want to, contact Andrew. By the way, Andrew, you need to come back to this post to comment so that people can contact you. And then if you want to, of course, if you want Andrew's contact, you can message me and I'll be able to provide to you happily. Now, while I'm actually typing this, Andrew, before we actually wrap this up, I want to chip in to Manfred to talk about his, wow.
Yes, my website of the week. So you change it to just now let me share the screen for website of the week itself. It is Hemingway editor. So, are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, I'm actually bringing it up right now.
Not seeing anything.
Okay, this is Hemingway editor. Then, Jason, if you don't mind, can you help me share the URL www.hamiltonwayapp.com to both FB and YouTube? So you notice that down here, there's a passage. Actually, they do a lot of highlighting, and you see now here availability grade 6 for information. Our good friend Donald Trump's speech is always grade 4. So the lower you are, the better it for people to understand number of words than add words. And passive voice is not exactly advisable. Then there's some phrases with alternate, similar alternative, hard to read, so on and so forth. So you can make changes. There's even a desktop app for it. Okay, this one is free. Okay, so the other screen I want to share with you. Let me share screen again.
So today we have 2 websites of the week. 3 actually. The other one is Andrew's course.
Yeah. Let me try to find the other one. This one is I use a paid service. This is called Grammarly. Okay, I open up my Grammarly. This is one of the passage. You see, let's say example, I'm talking about the Semarco landfill. You notice that they highlight this is a passive voice. So for a paid service one, they will actually suggest words to replace, but I didn't buy. I already stopped these services.
But it's already very powerful.
We can extend the lifespan. Then you can remove this one because instead of passive voice, it's active voice.
Yes, Grammarly is quite good.
So you can extend. See the spacing, the lifespan of and then now the passage is good. Then you see everything is looking good. So Grammarly is one good choice, and Grammarly I also use it for my usual WhatsApp message. They come out with a suggestion. A lot of people are using Grammarly. So both tools. So you can actually, Jason will actually share both the links out. Grammarly Grammarly and this Hamilton Way. And that's all for today for website of the week.
Thank you so much, Manfred. You're always the reliable knowledge bank. Any questions, any topic you want to actually go specifically, right? You have to.
Thank you, man.
Whoever who needs, now another thing add on, whoever who needs a good researcher, I think you should really consider Manfred. This guy I tell you, you throw him any bloody topic, he can actually come up with a lot of things for you to actually chill and all that, right? Dig deep, man, this guy. Okay, Andrew, back to the topic that we are at right now, right? Now, can you give us a summary about email marketing? Why should you do it? How to do it right? And how can you help them do this right? Andrew, did you catch?
Well, why you just start with the first one? Why? Obviously, because it's yes, yeah. Okay, let's cool down. Why you should do it? Definitely because it's an asset that you own, it's within your control, and your cost is relatively cheap compared to running ads, and it's very targeted. And the best part is it's immediate. You can see the results immediately. Either they click on the link, or either they respond back to you, or worse, they unsubscribe. Whichever way, you get a response back to them, right? And the traffic is within your control. What was the second one again?
Second thing is how to do email marketing right, and how can you help them do email marketing right?
Okay. At the most basic, and that's where I started, like we mentioned earlier, write emails as if writing to your friend. And Manfred has shown the Hemingway app. Your email does not have to be very technical. It is basically a plain English. Better still if it's for the fourth grader because it's easier to read. And you don't really need to write long emails unless your story is compelling. Okay. Nobody complains to watch a game for 3 hours. But if you watch other movies for more than 1.5 or 2 hours, certain boring ones, then you probably complain. So the story, the quality of the story is important. And then the third one is this. That's why when I was working with Jason, I found out that a lot of people had these questions about email marketing. And that created a course where I take you through the fundamentals of the emails. I take you through the 3-part email sequence. Basically, your welcome, your nurture, and your sales sequence. And I also basically tell you the components of the email that you should be aware of. So the idea is to be able to, when you go through the course, you have the content and the knowledge to be able to send an email campaign, at least within 7 days. It's not rocket science. It's just that you just needed the guided tools. Now, I will not provide swipes. And basically, you can get a lot of email swipe files from the internet. Primarily because I wanted I think each one of us are unique in our own ways. We have our different voice, we have a different way of writing, have a different set of personality. So swipe files, sometimes you copy and paste, you actually take away the thinking. But what I do is I give you the guidelines and frameworks. And from there, you take it on and you basically write in your own language. So that's the purpose of me creating this email course.
Right. So basically, for those who are interested, right, I've already put in the link. Andrew actually just launched this, today. So the whole idea here is because we work together on this course very closely. Because for those who are in my FAA, for those who sign up to my 6DC bundle for FAA plus my JIC, right, you should already have this course in your library right now. You can go in and go and access it. You can learn, and if you have any questions, right, remember to go back to our FAA group to ask. Andrew is inside there. Whatever questions regarding this course is gonna be answered by the man himself. So and for those who wants to work with Andrew and all that, Andrew is ready, and he's positioning himself as he really want to help more people get email marketing right. I think this is really some holes that a lot of businesses are actually having right now. Like what Andrew said, it's your asset. You have gathered so many emails or email addresses and all that, and these are the people who are ready to hear from you because they bought from you. Either they submitted to you and all that. You need to do something about this. And the moment you're able to do this, the what do we call, the return is huge. Like I said from the very beginning just now, currently my list I think we are closing to 2008 right now. It's growing very fast right now. It's making me $2,000 to $3,000 every month.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be talking about US dollar. So it's a very good return. Can you imagine? I was having this list of about 1,000 people for the past 10 years. I couldn't even make money out of it. Not to say I want to make money from the list, you see. It's the people who are ready to buy from you, but you're actually leaving it on the table. I think that's a very big mistake that we are making right now. And like I always like to tell people, if you don't put email marketing in your digital marketing mix, you're missing the mark. Now, thank you, Andrew. I want to bring this up for our next episode. If you watch up to now, right, for those who watch up to now, thank you so much. You're watching the Three Marketeers show. I'm your host, Jason. We have Manfred and Andrew. We are the co-hosts of this show. So basically, every Wednesday, 10 p.m., we're going to come live over here, and as well as Andrew's Facebook page and my YouTube channel. So we're going to go live every week on Wednesday, 10 p.m. to discuss one specific topic about digital marketing. Now, next week, we're going to have a guest. Now, I want to I want to pass this to Manfred to introduce our guest next week and the topic of next week. I mean, the Three Marketeers show is hitting 10 episodes next week. So, Manfred, over to you.
Okay, for the next week, I have a friend. His name is Ian. He's own an agency and he's an all-rounder digital marketer. I hope that he can come more often. So he will be covering one missing topic that I think is quite obvious among digital marketing is SEM, paid search for Google. He will be covering that next week. And if you've got any questions, do drop us a message, then we'll find out more. But before we wrap up the show, I just want to highlight one more thing. I think we also need to mention customer segmentation. Yeah. Customer segmentation where different people is put into different buckets, then you talk to them in a different message. The content had to be relevant. And I have some marketing automation experience. I used to do Eloqua for B2B, which it was quite a steep learning curve. I realized some mistakes also. One major mistake that my fellow marketers always like to do is they like to put a lot of pictures. And they think the pictures is very important, the positioning. They are missing the mark. I think the most important in terms of email I would like to highlight is the headlines. You should spend a lot of time on the headlines. And the other thing is your offer. If your offer sucks inside the email, there's nothing.
I agree. I think it makes sense. Yeah.
So that's all for my part.
Thank you so much. Andrew, any last suggestions or any wrap up? For everyone who is watching up to now, we still got some people who is watching right now. Any last few advice or suggestions that you have about email marketing to wrap this up?
Don't worry about the technicalities of email. Start sending your emails now because it is far cheaper than placing ads on Facebook. It's far cheaper than placing ads on Google search. And it's available to you. And like Jason mentioned, they already know you, right? You can either learn from my class on writing the nuances of emails, or you can basically watch how other people write their emails, and in this you basically just copy the guidelines from there. But start doing it because it's important now to get your message out to the people who already given your email address, and they deserve some respect from you. Right.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I think this is a good wrap. Although we have a bit of delay where Andrew is now, kind of like, I'm not sure. I think we need to work on the router part. But yeah, nonetheless, everyone else, I think thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. This is already our 9th episode. So if you're still watching this, if you're here, all of a sudden for no reason, remember to hit the subscribe and the follow button to make sure that you'll be notified whenever you go live in the future. And for questions, remember, next week we're going to talk about search engine marketing, which is paid ads, right?
Paid search, yeah.
Paid search ads. So next week, if you have any questions about paid search ad, bring this in. Post on my Facebook page and send me the DM and all that. And next week we're going to grill Ian, for this thing. All right, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. This is the Three Marketeers show, and this is me, Jason, and me, Manfred, and Andrew. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.